On April the 21st of 1836, Sam Houston attacked the Mexicans at San Jacinto with a battle cry of "Remember the Alamo, remember Goliad," and a massive charge. The ranks of the Mexican army cracked, and it was a victory of overwhelming proportions. Santa Anna surrendered, signed a treaty agreeing to move the Mexican army below the Rio Bravo, and Texas was an independent nation. In a very real sense, in that little battle, east of the present city of Houston, the destiny of America hung in the charge that occurred that day. I submit that today we are engaged in a similar contest. Free men against the minions of tyranny. And the threat is great. And our response to that threat is $1 billion that the American taxpayer and the working men and women of America have invested in this ship.
As we gather here for the christening of the San Jacinto, we are well aware of the dangers of war and the distrust that exists among members of our human family across the globe. Our prayer is that this ship may be not a vessel representing human pride and sin, but that she may be a vessel of peace, and that as she roams the waters of your good earth, she may represent freedom and hope and justice for all.
Good morning. It's my privilege once again to represent the dedicated men and women of English shipbuilding and welcome you to the christening of CG 56, the San Jacinto. Indeed, we witness in the Aegis shipbuilding program some very remarkable accomplishments that go back several decades. Remarkable accomplishments carried out by a team of not just shipbuilders in residence at Ingalls Shipbuilding in Pascagoula, but as I mentioned, subcontractors and their employees throughout the country, and a dedicated group of Navy personnel, officers, and enlisted men who are as much a part of the success of what we're doing today as those of us who are fortunate enough to be building the ship.
A little over a year from today, this ship will be commissioned. A year from now, we will have 10 Aegis ships in commission, a doubling of the Aegis cruiser fleet in a little over 1 year. This cruiser, the other 3 cruisers you see in the water here at Ingalls, is the culmination of great genius, effort, and dedication by the country's Navy industrial team.
Ticonderoga, Valley Forge, Vincennes, Yorktown, Mobile Bay, on it goes. And they all have one solid thing in common. In fact, perhaps we should change the name of the class and call it the Warrior class. Warrior class. Because that's what these ships represent. They represent warriors. This is a fighting ship. So you Texans should be proud. But let me assure you that there's warriors that have gone ahead of us here, and it's wonderful to have you here. And just like Texas is a mix of warriors, people who are proud, people who have recognized and fought for our liberties. Bravery is the basis of respect. Brave men will man this ship. Fighters will man this ship. And Mrs. Graham, we are so pleased in the Navy family that you're going to christen her today.
Like all Aegis cruisers, San Jacinto is a highly advanced and capable ship. Bringing her to reality has required the combined efforts of many individuals, both within and outside the Navy. All have worked with dedication, professionalism, and the spirit of creation. The systems within this ship have been designed and engineered and built, and they can deal with the threat facing our Navy today, from the highest flying aircraft and guided missiles through surface raiders and to submarines beneath the sea. The ship is a multi-naval warfare capable ship. She stands before you, the American public, as the best the minds of man can devise and American industry can produce. We express our great confidence and appreciation to the great American public who, together with national leadership, have opted to keep this country strong and free and the continuing naval power of the West. We congratulate all of you who will have the privilege to serve and sail in San Jacinto.
President Reagan has said, "We have but one agenda for America: restoring prosperity, rebuilding our national security and keeping the peace, recovering the moral foundation of our social order." These goals cannot be isolated from the other. They cohere, they interrelate, they mutually sustain. Together, they address every area of our social life with which government can rightly be concerned. First, I think it's important to recognize that the name that this ship will bear is a name that's important to all Americans, not just because the Battle of San Jacinto made Texas a republic and brought Texas into the Union, but because in a very real sense that battle sealed the fate of the nation. The victory at San Jacinto not only brought Texas into the Union, but brought the great Southwest into the Union as well, and made it clear that the destiny of America was to span from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, and provided the great and vast resources of the Southwest that have made us a great nation.
The first USS San Jacinto was commissioned in the early 1850s. That first USS San Jacinto went on to serve in the China Wars and also then came back to be part of the Union Navy and chased down some blockade runners during the Civil War. The second USS San Jacinto was built almost 100 years later, and it was going to be a cruiser. But by then, Pearl Harbor had occurred, and we needed more aircraft carriers, and so it was built into a light aircraft carrier. Now, for this third San Jacinto, I'd like to say to Captain Clark and to you crew members of this San Jacinto, to all of you who will serve, and to all future crews of this San Jacinto, may you always serve in peace. May God be with you, and may you always be a threat to those who would threaten our freedoms. May you serve in peace and promote the cause of freedom, and may the hearts of all tyrants tremble at your power and resolve. Now, in the name of the United States of America, and in honor of those who fought at the historic battle for which this ship is named, I christen thee San Jacinto.